Hello, it's orenjpiko, your 2D escape from the 3D woes. For today's video, I'm doing a drawing process chit chat, and I'm going to talk about my newest piece here called In the Land of Jam. So, as usual, I will do a close up and you can kind of see all the parts, but pretty much this is a picture, or this is an illustration of three guys in swimwear enjoying some jam in the land of jam. So, this is the land of jam. There is jam everywhere. There are strawberries. It's the strawberry jam land because, in my opinion, strawberry jam is superior. So this is the land of strawberry jam, though I call it in the land of jam. Maybe there is another land of like cherry jam and another land of, I don't know, blueberry jam, but this is the land of strawberry jam. And there's lots of strawberries, there's lots of jam everywhere, and in this land, I think you can swim there. You can swim in a pool of jam and eat it all. You can eat out of jars of jam. There's jam jars the size of people. There's jam jars the size of regular jam jars. And you can just enjoy the jam as these three gentlemen here are enjoying the jam. So, usually I go over the technical aspects. So, this is an 11 by 17 illustration. It's done on Bristol paper and it's done using Pilot drafting ink. As usual, I use my nib holders, and for this piece, I used, I would say, a good combination of the G pen and the Maru pen, the G nib and the Maru nib, and I, as usual, used my Sakura Pigma markers just to kind of fill in like black and everything. Something different that I use this time, just for the technical aspect of it, is I use the Copic Opaque White. I use the Copic Opaque White. I normally use, I would say like there's a difference between the two. I normally use like the Minot. The Minot is good, I think, for like little mistakes, like if you just extend the line a little too long or whatever it is, you want to get rid of something. But I feel like for detailing, the Copic Opaque White is really good. I use it for the detailing in the jam, and I'll kind of just show you that when I do the more detailed drawing process. I'm really upset because this used to be sold like at my at the like art chain store, which is quite close to me. So like if I ever need something and it's not like a specialty item, like I'll kind of go there. And they usually have coupons like 30% off, like one item or whatever. So it's like, oh, if I just need one thing, like I'll go get it for 30% off. However, I don't know how long back ago this was, but I saw that these were on sale and I was like, okay, cool. Like it's on sale. Like you can't get it for the discount, but the discount was really good. So I got another bottle. And then after that, it disappeared and I've never seen it again. And I'm so upset because you can now get it on Amazon, but like for way more than it was before. So I'm wondering if I can maybe, like when I'm done, I think I have another bottle, if I can find it at like a specialty art store. And I like specialty art stores, like local art stores, don't get me wrong. It's just that there's none that are like close to me. They're like a 40-minute to an hour drive. So usually if I ever visit any, it's kind of like it's like a not a day trip, but it's like something you set aside for the day. Like where I live, you can't just all of a, I mean, you could all of a sudden just be like, let's go, but it's like an hour getting there, an hour getting back, and then like exploring. So it might turn into like a 4 hour thing. So it's like, we have our dog here as well. So can't just like leave all of a sudden. But yeah, maybe I'll check some local art stores just to see if I can get some more when I need some. I use my light box as I normally do to go through different sketches. And that's pretty much it. That's what I normally do. This is the original here. You can kind of see like, or if you feel it, you can kind of feel like all the little like jam details and everything. But you can't feel it. So sorry. You can't touch the jam. You can imagine being swimming in the jam in the land of strawberry jam. In terms of like where did this idea come from? Just to kind of go over some inspiration, I guess. It is honestly nothing like very complicated. So I was just in my fridge and the jar of jam was ending. And I was like, oh man, I gotta buy some more jam. This is unfortunate because like I like jam. I like jam on toast. It tastes good. And I was like, oh, it'd be cool, like a land of jam, like a just jam everywhere. And I'm like, oh, it'd be a cool illustration if like I had guys eating jam. And then it turned into what it is here. So it was honestly just like a random thought. I feel like my best ideas, I feel like this is common for most people, but like my best ideas just come at me out of nowhere. I feel like my brain is always just like, there's what I'm doing at the moment. And then my brain has another level that's just kind of always singing songs, thinking of ideas, just doing random stuff in there. So I feel like there's the second floor or something, and there's always a party on the second floor. And the first floor is like, okay, I'm going to like do the laundry, and then I'm gonna go to work, and then I'm gonna go do this stuff. But then there's the party on the second floor that's thinking about jam and men eating jam. So that's kind of where this came from. It wasn't anything like very riveting or complicated as such, but that is how we got to the land of jam. And then after I thought about it, usually I have like once I think of an idea, I could kind of right away see poses. But this one, the poses took like a while, or like the composition, I think, kind of took a bit of more time than I usually take to think about, okay, like who's doing what, what's going on. But I did know that I wanted it to be like swimwear. And I wanted like to do the Speedo, which I did. But then I wanted to do like a bathing suit, which I did as well. So I really enjoyed doing that. I didn't want to keep it like too plain. So I did have to add some accessories like a necklace, a bracelet, a necklace, and the goggles. I really wanted to do goggles because if you're swimming in the pool of jam, of course you need goggles. You don't want to get the jam like in your eye and the seeds. Oh, okay, now that I think about it, you have to tell me in the comments. Are you like the jam that has like the seedy parts in it, or do you like the jelly that has nothing? It's just kind of like squishy. I feel like I think I like both, but I really do like the one that has like the chunkier chunks of jam in it. Not to be weird, but yeah, like I don't know if you've had the ones that has the seeds in it, and it tastes good. I enjoy the jam with the seeds, but I also enjoy the jelly. That's just like the jelly kind, you know. But yes, let me know what kind of jam you like in the comments. It doesn't have to be strawberry. Maybe you like grape jelly or something. Like, just tell me what kind of jam you like. What kind of fruit? Do you like the jelly? Do you like the jammy one that has the seeds in it? If it's a seedy fruit, I feel like I digress, but I also love guava jam. My grandma like used to make guava jam, and like when she would come visit, she would bring jam, and it was guava jam, and it was really good. But I don't have it that much anymore. I mean, I can buy it. They sell it at the store, but it's not the same as like my grandma making jam. So I also like guava jam. Please tell me about your jam preferences in the comments. Um, but yeah, so those are the kind of like the fashion pieces that I wanted to kind of give some oomph with. And that's basically what I did. And I think the most fun was drawing the swimsuit, but I think figuring out how to draw the jam was quite a challenge that I enjoyed. Drawing the strawberries was also fun. I did also record myself drawing the strawberries, so that will hopefully be a video that maybe I will put up before this or maybe I will put up after this. I'll see. But I did record drawing some strawberries, so I think that might be a fun watch. All right, I think that is everything that I wanted to talk about before I go through the sketches. That was the inspiration. Those are my big fashion points. I talked about materials. So, yeah, next thing I'll do is I'll kind of get you in from the top and I'll go over all the sketches and like the little details and everything that you hopefully find interesting. So, let's get going. All right, so as I explained earlier, we're going to get into a closer look at the illustration and I'm going to talk about all of the sketches. I do have about 8 sketches here, and I'm just going to give you a closer look at the illustration and kind of talk about the different parts. So I'll start off with the illustration. So at the top here, we have some jars of jam. A cute little detail is like I did my signature on the jar, so it's orange pico jam. Even though it's orange pico strawberry jam. So I don't know, maybe that would taste cool. Oh, my laptop is gonna die. So yes, I have like a couple jars of jam up here, and then we have jam kind of flowing down on top of strawberry slices. And then there's a mixture of strawberry slices and some full-size strawberries as well. As we move to the right, we have like a giant spoon because I imagine that in this land of jam, you would need a big spoon because I don't know, you might be shoveling jam, maybe you're putting it into a jar. I don't know what you're doing. Maybe you're just eating from the giant spoon. Like maybe you're all sharing a giant spoon. And then as we move to the right, we have my favorite character, my number one in this illustration. Usually always have a favorite. And it did not waver. Like he was my favorite at the beginning and he's still my favorite at the end. So this is the character with the ponytail. And that's partially why he's my favorite. He has long hair and a ponytail. He's eating some jam out of a jar. He has like a little seed on his face, and the jam is dripping down. And obviously, the second character here is going to eat it. Um, he has a little jar of jam, so he's eating it from his own jar. He has a little speedo on, and I love him. He's so cute. He's just the cutest. And then to his right, we have some full size strawberries there as well. Kind of moving down into the left, we have this guy here. He was the most fun to draw. I don't want to say he's my second favorite because then he would be my last, and you can't do that to them. So they're both my second favorite. He was a lot of fun to draw because fun. I had fun drawing the pose, and I also love drawing the goggles and the swimsuit. So I really did enjoy that. This guy is wearing a swimsuit. He's sitting on a jar of jam, and he's kind of stabilizing himself and just trying to catch the jam that's falling. So that's what we got over here. And then as we move down, we have some more jars of jam in the middle. And then we have some full size strawberries going along the bottom. And then I guess we'll come over here to the third character. So this guy in this illustration he's just having a good time. He's enjoying his slice of toast with jam on it. And he's got a cool necklace on. You'll see how his hair changed. He has like kind of like spiky-ish hair, and he's just having a good time enjoying his jam. He has a cool ring. And then to the right of him, we have another jar of jam, some more slices of strawberries, and more dollops of just jam. Just jam everywhere. Jam in this land of jam. And then at the bottom, we have some more slices of strawberries. Okay, so let's go through the 8 sketches. So this is the first sketch here. Initially, I wasn't even sure like how I wanted this all to look. I think I knew I wanted someone eating jam with a spoon and I wanted someone eating jam with toast. And for the third person, initially he's sitting on top of the jar. So that's kind of what I was thinking. And then I was like, okay, strawberries and everything and jam in the background. So hopefully you can tell what these are. I feel like when I show these, I'm like, I don't know if people can like tell, but hopefully you could tell. So there's like a guy here, a guy here, and a guy here. And then I kind of like boxed out some stuff for strawberries. For the second sketch, I wanted to I knew at this point I was like, okay, I think it would be cool if he like was bent over backwards and then the jam was dripping into his mouth. And then I'm like, okay, I can have like a stack of strawberries. And then this guy here, he's been here eating his toast. He was always eating his toast from the beginning. So at this point, I was just kind of figuring out the position and the pose for this. I like using I like drawing in boxes and like prisms and like spheres for joints. Like I forgot what that method is called. Obviously, there's so many ways you can draw. You can draw however you want. I just personally like using the boxes because for me, it's like the easiest to figure out like different kinds of poses. It took me like quite a few times and a lot of erasing, like imagining like, okay, like if I were to bend over backwards like that far, like what would it kind of look like? So using boxes kind of helps me figure out like where things all go, like for the torso and like the chest and everything. That's just my preferred method and like how I do things. Moving on from this, so now to sketch number 3, I just kind of wanted to refine the bodies a bit more. So I did kind of map out some more strawberries here, piles of strawberries, piles of strawberries. I just kind of worked on the heads and the main parts of the bodies a bit. I had like the hand and the jar of the jam. And then I did kind of work on this pose a bit more, like for the legs and like how the head would look upside down and like how the neck would connect and everything. At this point, I was still kind of a little iffy about the torso. Like, I think that was something I worked on more in the next one, just kind of like looking at pictures of like the body and seeing how things connect and like, okay, like in this kind of position, how would it look? So I was still working on that. And then that brings us to sketch one, sketch two, is this sketch four? Yes, we are at sketch four. So in sketch four, I did work on the torso a bit more and I wanted to work more on some details for the background. I also kind of wanted to make some decisions about the hair. I just wanted to place the goggles as well. This guy's hair changed so much. I initially thought I would do like long hair parted down the middle, and I did not, obviously. As you can see, his hair is a lot different. But at this point, I was like, okay, like maybe that would look fine. I did want to do a ponytail for sure, but I don't know why I thought I would do a short ponytail because I know I like the long ponytail. So what was I thinking? I don't know. I feel like I always do that. I always start off short and I'm like, no, it just ends up being long hair because that's what I like. And then I did want to do like short, like maybe medium. I don't know what you call this. Like, I don't think it would like be past the ears if you turned upside. No, it would. So like, yeah, medium length hair. Sorry, I'm having a conversation with myself. Medium length hair for this guy because I just kind of wanted it to flow down, but I didn't want it to be too long because then it would like take away too much from the rest of everything else. So I thought like medium length would be good. And then I just kind of placed some jars, like I'm like, okay, jars here, strawberries here. And the placement obviously changed because I kind of had them falling down or like facing forward. But obviously, like I kind of had them more upright in the final. Even here, thought I would do slices, but I ended up doing full size strawberries as well. Okay, moving on to sketch five. So for sketch five, it starts to look a bit more like what you see on the right side here. I ended up changing the hair, obviously, and this kind of matches with what he has. And then I knew I wanted to do full size strawberries as well on this side. And I wanted to do like kind of like a pancake stack of slices of strawberries with some like jam kind of oozing down. And at this point I got the I got the torso like down, like how it would look like flipped back like that. So I was really happy, like once I kind of played around with it a lot more. And yeah, that was like a small victory for me. I'm like, okay, like this was like a fun pose to like figure out. And then I kind of figured out the hair a bit more. The goggles, I wanted to like focus more on showing shape, like than just doing like the black goggle. I think the black goggles looked fine, but I think in the end, I do like how you can kind of see the shape of the goggles here, like like the pop it like this more 3D than just like black flat goggles. And then thank goodness I ended up changing his hair and I softened his face a lot more because I'm like, what is this? I think again at the end of the day, it's just like the sketches, and I'm just kind of like throwing ideas out there until like I feel like it's like me throwing ideas until it's like it clicks. I'm like, okay, it feels right. Like for this, I'm like, okay, it clicked, and it just kind of feels so good. And this hair, I'm like, okay, it clicked. It feels so good. The pile of strawberries, I'm like, oh, love it. The jars, love it. This pile of strawberries, I'm like, I love how it looks. And the hand and everything. At this point, no. The hand and the torso, I was not like sold on. I was like, no, something's off. I need to like try it again. So in sketch six is where it all came together. Not his hair. His hair didn't come together, but the rest of him did. Like the hand and the arm and everything. Like it looked how I wanted it to look. Um, the shoulders and the chest and everything. I'm like, okay, I like it. His face came together a lot more. I do think I softened him up a lot in the final, which like I do like. I like that he became like a softer. To me, he seems like a softer like a teddy bear. No, he's like a teddy bear. He's more like I don't know, like a cute golden retriever. And I feel like this guy's like a cocker spaniel. I don't know. But then he's a bear and these two are dogs, so I don't know. They're all just cute. At the end of the day, they're all just cute. So at this point at sketch six, I kind of just did the detailings on the strawberries just to kind of show shape, to kind of show like jam, the flowing jam. Same thing for the toast. The spoon, I added the spoon at this point as well. Cause yeah, I was like, I feel like something was missing here. I'm like, I think the spoon like is a good addition. I also kind of started to map out the texture of the strawberries. I wanted to start mapping that out, and then I added some jars. Initially, I was gonna do some jars, a jar, not some jars, a jar in the top right corner, but I'm glad I didn't, and I kind of added a strawberry instead because I feel like it's very busy, but like having nothing there kind of balances it out a bit. So I'm glad I got rid of the idea of that jar. But yeah, at sketch 6, I think I was pretty like happy with like the line art and how everything was going. So yeah, I just kind of refined the in sketch 7 over here. I just refined the line art a bit more and just kind of was more certain about what I wanted to do. And obviously I fixed his hair, thankfully, and I just tidied him up a bit. Um but yeah, like I just refined everything. I worked on like the jam flow. And yeah, on sketch 7, I was very happy I think with everything like the line art. And from here, it was just a matter of like doing the line art and then hatching. Sometimes as I've mentioned in previous videos, I don't plan out the hatching. I just kind of do it. And sometimes I do plan out the hatching. This time I did plan it out, but I feel like I didn't use all of it. So I feel like it'd be good to see sketch 7 and 8 side by side. So sketch 7, obviously, and then this is sketch 8. So in sketch 8, it looks kind of crazy. Like, what is it? But I think when you look at it, it's kind of cool. Like, you can see, like, looking at them side by side, I feel like you can tell what this is supposed to be, if that makes sense. So it was kind of like interesting to see it afterwards. And basically, what I did was I just put this down first, and then I put this down on top with my light box, and then I just kind of planned out the hatching and everything. I didn't want to do it directly on here because I just wanted to like maintain the line art for when I was doing the line art on the final over here. So that's why I separated the planning aspect. However, use I used some of it. I didn't use all of it. Like for example, this jar for example, I was going to leave it like white, but then I was like, "Oh, I think it would look better if I did a full jar of jam." And then I did the white detailing on the top instead. So I didn't even use that. For the strawberries, I did not use what I planned out. I think I was going to do them very like dark and one dimensional, but I liked how it ended up being in the end. Like, I feel like I tried to show a lot of like shape, shadowing, and roundness. And I think this turned out better than if I were to have just shaded them all in one dimensional. So that was another thing I didn't use, especially the jam. I planned out the jam just doing like little strokes like that. And I did do the little strokes on like this part, for example. Well, obviously you can't tell, but I did. And then when I was looking at it, I was like, oh, this doesn't look very like jam like at all. It just looks like liquid. And I'm like, jam doesn't look like liquid. Jam is like, I think this is viscous the word. Jam is very like, jammy and like jelly and like squishy and like, you know. So I did like a little bit of experimenting with the hatching, and then I did a lot of like little lines, and then eventually I was like, oh, it just kind of looks like a cell. And I'm like, it needs to be a lot darker, I think, in order for it to have like that jam look. And then, which I feel like that's how jam looks like when it's all in the jar, it looks very dark, or when it's all like together, it looks very dark. But then when like you see it on like a piece of bread, for example, there's lots of little like light spots in it and everything. So I think I did a good job of capturing the jam, and I really like how it turned out. So, yeah, I didn't use a lot of like I'm glad I did like the flow of the flow of it, like the shape of the flow and everything, like how it would look going on top of the strawberry slices. But in the end, I didn't even use some of the hatching that I planned out. Even for like the people, like I did like straight downward hatching here for his chest, but then on the final, I did it more horizontal. So I think it's worth it to plan out just to see where I would like to place things and just kind of have better idea of how it would look, but sometimes I still end up just going with pencil on the final paper and then going over that, which I did a lot of that here. Like I changed the hatching. I was like, okay, let me just kind of lightly plan it out with pencil and then erase it after. I don't love doing that when it's like something that's very like where I use marker because sometimes I feel like I have to go over it. I will go over it again after I erase like anything that I used in marker because I feel like it maybe it's just me being paranoid, but I'm like I'm hoping it doesn't like fade the marker or anything. So I do go over if it's like something that's like solid or anything. But yes, this was the final sketch, sketch 8. And then we had 7 in total. I mean, sketch 8, is it really? Yeah, it is a sketch because it does kind of look like something on its own as well. But yeah, these were the 8 sketches for my illustration called In the Land of Jam, which you have over here. I feel like I'm always going to say this every time I draw something new, but this is my favorite one. I feel like when I drew stars, I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. It's my favorite. And then I drew bartenders and I was like, oh my gosh, it's my favorite. I love it. And now I've drawn In the Land of Jam and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's my favorite. It's right now it's my favorite. I'm gonna say it's my favorite because it's the newest one, but I'm so happy with this illustration and I really hope you enjoy it too. And thank you so much for listening to the end of this video and just kind of learning more about like how my brain works and how I go about everything. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoy this illustration. I do plan once I have my website going to have this as a print. And I hope you will like to have this in your kitchen and you can think about jam while you eat jam in your kitchen. But yeah, thank you so much again for watching. I'll see you in the next one. And again, thank you so much. Bye.